New evidence in the impeachment trial of suspended Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Prosecutors filed new court documents with some of the most detailed information we've seen so far in this case. Investigative reporter Tanya Iser has been going through nearly 4,000 pages of documents all day long. And Tanya, what was in those documents?
Well, Cynthia, if what we had before was an outline, what we have now is the filled-in detail of allegations that the state's top law officer systematically used his office to benefit friend and campaign donor Nate Paul. Paul's now under federal indictment, accused of fraudulently obtaining loans. And House impeachment managers, they released more than 3,700 pages. And here's some of the detailed records. They include allegations of a secret Uber account that Paxton used to visit Paul, and also Paxton's alleged mistress. And several trips actually match her address, which is listed on this lease right here. And that lease was also included in those records. Paxton's former personal assistant told investigators that Paxton used an encrypted email account and had multiple cell phones. He also said Paxton had slipped away from his security detail to meet with Paul. And he said he'd heard discussions between Paul and Paxton between Paxton about Paul's complaints to the FBI. He also recalled the conversation he'd overheard between Paxton and a contractor that made him think that Paul may be paying for remodeling at Paxton's home. And investigators, they even included pictures that the contractor sent Paul of Paxton's home. And there were video and audio recordings, including 2 meetings that Paul had in 2020 with members of Paxton's office as he sought to get the AG's office to investigate his allegations that federal agents had falsified grand jury subpoenas. Let's take a look.
There were 3 searches that took place that day that we were aware of. Okay. At my home, at the office, and at the server room. Mm-hmm. There's tons of things that are questionable about it.
Over the objections of Paxton's staff, the now suspended Attorney General would ultimately hire an outside lawyer to investigate Paul's claims. That lawyer was able to get subpoenas that asked for email and telephone records of law enforcement officials involved in the investigation of Paul. And audio recordings also show that outside lawyer showed up with Paul's attorney to deliver subpoenas to at least 2 banks. And one of those bankers told that attorney that Paxton had hired that Paxton and Nate Paul, quote, seemed to go hand in hand, unquote. Now, this all would ultimately prompt officials in Paxton's office to go to the FBI, file a whistleblower lawsuit, and ultimately it leads to where Paxton finds himself today facing removal from office. Now, I also must add that Paxton has denied all the allegations against him. Back to you.